If you were a kid growing up in the early 2000s, you played at least one game from this series. It was more than likely the second one, but the first one and the third one are just as memorable. Said series in question, NBA Street. To this day, NBA Street Volume 2 is probably one of the best basketball games I've ever played. Is that my opinion? Yes, but we gon' call it a fact. See, everyone loved the first one, alright? We appreciate the first one, but the second one is what really blew everyone out of the water. For those of you who aren't familiar, the NBA Street games are a series of video games, basketball games to be specific, that was released in the early 2000s during the PS2 era through the gaming company EA Sports Big. Now, EA Sports Big released a variety of street games. There's NBA Street, NFL Street, FIFA Street, and Def Jam Vendetta, which isn't a street game, but you know, we're gonna throw that shit in anyways. The street games were a staple in a lot of people's childhoods. Unfortunately, to a lot of people who came up during that time, a lot of that shit died with Homecourt. NBA Street Homecourt is the fourth and final entry in the Street series. It came out February for Xbox and March for PlayStation. And not only is it the last in the series, but it's the only one in the series to be featured on next-gen consoles, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Now, as a fan of the series, you would think an NBA Street game featured on a next-gen console would be a step better from the ones before and everybody would love it, right? Wrong. Apparently people hated it and people called it the worst in the series, saying it's the reason why we don't have street games anymore. Like, I've heard multiple people claim that Homecourt was the killer of the NBA Street series. You got folks making YouTube videos and shit talking about how NBA Street was the worst in the series and how it shouldn't have been made, talking about the producers of the game needing their asses beat, all types of crazy shit. And as a person who's played all four of the games, I figured it was only fair for me to revisit Homecourt and see if it's really as bad as y'all made it seem to be. Now, Homecourt, just like the other games, followed the exact same formula. It's a basketball game. Now, unlike your typical NBA Lives or your 2Ks, an NBA Street is 3-on-3. You don't got a basketball court full of 10 people running back and forth between two ends. You don't got a bench full of players ready to tag in case one of the players get injured. And you don't get timeouts. There's no referee, there's no stadium, there's no nothing. It's street ball. Now, the beauty of the street games was how crazy the games could get. It's shooting and dunking, but it's EA Sports Big, so the shooting and dunking is amplified by like 3. You got players jumping 20 feet in the air to do a dunk, folks doing triple backflips in the air before slamming it into the hoop, and a whole bunch of extra shit. Homecourt took that formula and in my opinion they expanded upon it. Homecourt added a lot more things that you can do in the game when it came to dunking and shooting. For example, there's this cool thing you can do in Homecourt where if you press down on the D-pad, your teammate crouches down and you can jump off his back and do like a triple backflip and then dunk. Or better yet, if you get your meter high enough when you're dunking, you can do a double dunk and get double the points. I'm talking like you dunk once, then you lift yourself back up and then jump off the backboard and then do another dunk. Crazy shit. They even kind of updated the game breaker. Now, I already know what the game breaker was in the first 3 games. Basically, you get your game breaker after you get high enough points, and if you make either a shot or a dunk while your game breaker is active, you score a point and your opponent loses one. See, in this one with the game breaker, it doesn't just do that, but it also changes up your dribbling tactics, your passing tactics. It changes up everything. Just like the other ones technically, but in this one I think they did more with it. You can do all types of spin moves and back moves while you press the dribble button while you have your game breaker on. There's different ways for you to cross up opponents, and basically you do all of that in hopes that you can raise your meter and score a shot, because the higher the meter, the more points you get and the more points they lose. Now, granted, when it comes to the game breaker, it's basically just an updated version of Volume 3's version, because Homecourt technically didn't really introduce the updated version of the game breaker. NBA Street Volume 3 did. And funny enough, even though Homecourt did it last, I think 3 did it better, because with 3's game breaker, they did this cool thing where you and the entire team get in on it. Like, you got the ball and you're jumping for a dunk and you do your own little cool move, and then you pass it to the second player and they do what they do, then they pass it to the third one, and after the third one hits the dunk, they end it by having like their name signed in fire on the street. It's some cool shit to look at. I think Volume 3 had the best game breakers out of the series as a whole, but Homecourt definitely expanded upon it and advanced it. As I said, it's a street game. All NBA street games have the same formula when it comes to their gameplay. Obviously with the exception of Volume 3 and Homecourt, because as I said, they were advanced versions of said gameplay, but nonetheless it's the same formula. 3v3, crazy ass dunks, wild ass gameplay, scored to 21. Now going back to what I said in the beginning, a lot of people hated this game. They consider this the killer of the series. They believe that this game should not have been made. And after replaying it for a while, I kinda understand why. I don't agree with it, but I get it. I played these games back to back from Street 2 to 3 to Homecourt, and I see why people didn't like this one compared to the other ones, especially the second one. And the main reason is enthusiasm. See, something that was special about Volume 2 wasn't just the gameplay, it was also the atmosphere that it created. Like, that game had so much energy to it, and a lot of it was because of the announcer Barbito Garcia. That man brought so much energy to that game. He was funny, he was energetic, he was descriptive, and in a way he kind of added to the surreal environment of NBA Street. Like, he would make the dumbest shit sound entertaining. Like, I remember when I was playing once and I did some crazy ass dunk and the man just yelled out macaroni and cheese, but the way he said it, like, it was so, you know, it was enthusiastic. It added to it. It had life. Hell, even the colors, when you enter in through the main menu, there's all red, white, and blue. You got the players in the front, there's bright colors and bright lights shining at you, and you got that NBA Street intro theme greeting you. Like, even the main menu felt welcoming. It had life and spirit. And in my opinion, some of the maps looked a little better, like that one map, The Cage, where it's just a caged court on top of a building, I think up in Harlem. That shit's creative. It's crazy as hell, but it's creative. NBA Street Homecourt didn't have that. Not only did they not have Bobito, but they didn't have an announcer, period. So you just be going through the entire game without commentary. The commentary is probably one of the highlights from the games. And for them to take that out, I think was a mistake. Even the intros to the maps, like, even though they borrowed this from Volume 3, I still didn't like it. Like, the dude describing these maps sounds so, like, tired and sad with life.
Welcome to Chicago's best indoor run. Trouble runs the street, but we run the hardwoods here. Home of the boys' citywide champs, the old Midnight League, and birthplace of Kevin Garnett's first step. The caliber of run here brings guys from all over the city, despite the fact that the block is hot. It's really all about pride here, and you can see it in our dedication to memorializing our local heroes. See, at Franklin, we build dreams in a place with nothing to look forward to but survival. And we're still standing, despite the dangers all around us.
Bro got that I'm just here for my check voice. Like, where's the enthusiasm? And here on the left you see bleachers. LeBron James sat on those bleachers. Like, that's how he sounds. You can't have this wacky ass gameplay with a bland voice actor. Like in Volume 2, let's say I were to throw a ball at someone's face so I can like pass it back to me, and I have Bobito yelling out, damn bro just checked you like that, you just gonna let him get away with that? Or something along those lines. It made me feel good about myself. In this game, I could tie AI's laces together and push him on the ground and keep pushing and won't feel a thing. Why? Because there wasn't an announcer to tell what happened. There's no commentary. Like, imagine watching a UFC fight but without the commentators. It's still fun watching people hit each other, but the commentary adds to it. Another thing that didn't help about Homecourt is, in a way, it felt like an updated version of Volume 3. I know a lot of folks don't talk about Volume 3, but I encourage y'all to go replay it because Homecourt borrowed a lot of its aspects. For example, the boring ass announcer in Homecourt, they got that from Volume 3. The updated version of the game breakers that Homecourt uses, they also got that from Volume 3. Obviously, Volume 3 is still better than Homecourt because, like I said, it still had the enthusiasm that Volume 1 and 2 introduced, not only borrowing Barbito Garcia from the second one, but also having a fire-ass soundtrack. Even the color aspect, as small as that may sound, that plays a part. Like, let's compare notes real quick. This is Volume 2. It's colorful, it's loud, you got the announcer in the background, everybody's having a good time, it's bright. The environment feels alive. Now, this is Homecourt. As fun as it kind of was dribbling and playing ball, The environment feels great. There's no one talking in the background. The players is barely talking themselves. The only sound you really hear is the dribbling and the ball hitting the basket. There's no real color added to this game. Everything looks like just one big blend of gray. The environment feels dead. And it sucks because I think out of all 4 NBA Street games, I think Homecourt got the best mechanics. Obviously, I still favor 2 because you know that's my childhood. And in my opinion, it's the better game. But when it comes to the dribbling mechanics, the cross-up mechanics, the teammate mechanics, it is better. It's just the devs didn't give it the feeling that the other Street games got. All that aside, even though I do think that NBA Street Homecourt is missing a big element from the Street games, I'm not gonna say that this game is bad or that it's the worst in the series. Like the way y'all talk about this game, you make it seem like it's the Def Jam icon of the Street series. It is nowhere near that bad. Like I still had fun playing with it. Yes, I wish there was an announcer in the background and that the game was more colorful, but at the end of the day, it's still a Street game. I enjoyed everything about the dunking, the dribbling, the cross-ups, the teamwork. I enjoyed this game. Might not be the best in the series, but it's still NBA Street. I think it just so happened to have bad luck by being the last in the series. I mean, let's really look at it. This game came out in 2007. In 2007, that was a big tone shift in video gaming. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, 2007, isn't that where Modern Warfare 1 came out? 2007 is the year where gaming started to shift. Battlefield's Bad Company came out the year after, along with Call of Duty World at War. And before Modern Warfare was released, Halo 3 came out in 2007. Like, these were the years where first-person shooters started taking over the gaming world. You had Grand Theft Auto 4 coming out the year after. Like, that era that the Street games came in, the PS2 era, that shit was low-key dying. They were fun to play when they came out, but the time that Homecourt came out in, they were kind of on their last days of their expiration date. The Street games didn't die because of Homecourt, it died because we were shifting in gaming, in my opinion. If you run into a copy of Homecourt, I would encourage you to play it to get not only your own opinion, but to see the beauty of it. Yes, it has flaws, but I still enjoyed it for what it was, and hopefully you do too. But hey man, that's this episode of Reggie TV. I hope you enjoyed it. I was supposed to release this shit like either last night or way earlier this morning, but my dumb ass fell asleep at the keyboard. It was like 10, not even 10 a.m. It was midnight when I was recording this shit. But it's out now. I hope y'all enjoy it, and I think I might do a Wolverine game next. Either that one or Dragon Ball Z. We'll see. But for now, that's all I got for y'all, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it.